right, everybody, welcome back for another one. Andy, how you holding up?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah?
Yeah. Been pretty busy around here, but
Has your AC survived the onslaught of what apparently is like mid-July in May?
yeah, it's been crazy because it was like 40 degrees to 80 degrees and it's been nonstop that.
Yeah.
Um,
I love how our
been trying to
climate's shifting from like you're a popsicle or you can't go outside because you're melting. There's no happy medium.
Yep. We're supposed to have like a super El Nino or something this year, so I can't imagine we're going to get much snow. This
I mean, I'm okay with that.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
The rest of the country maybe not.
I'm just like amazed at like how hot it got for. I mean, we were 90 degrees for like 5 days out of the blue, and now it's still upper 80s and disgusting. So
Yeah, and dry too. So like
yeah,
it's like dusty and yeah.
well, yeah, and I've got like patches of my lawn that like I've like re-landscaped, and I'm trying to get grass to grow, and I'm just like so tired of going out there doing like the sprinkler routine every night and
Yeah.
getting the hoses. I think we're getting a thunderstorm tonight. If fingers crossed. So
Yep.
let's see.
No, I've been trying to do the same thing and none of it's working. And mostly
Yeah,
it's because I can't keep up with the regiment of
right.
watering. So
Well, yeah, because if you can't water it 2 to 3 times a day, because I'm doing it once a day. Like by the time I get home and I get out there at like 8 when the sun's going down, like it's just a caked, like dry slab of
yep.
death. So
Yep.
I'm starting to give up.
Yep. Same here. We
Luckily, all that stuff's cheap. Like $40 for a bag of seed,
yeah.
and then $40
Fertilizer is really great now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The we had to take a when we did some work on our basement, we had to take a deck off the side of the house to get some windows in.
Mm-hmm.
And that sat for a few years and we finally figured out what we're going to do with it and put it back together somehow, and it's all right, but I would not recommend figuring out how to do that. Like when you let something sit in a certain way for a while and then you have all the boards off and everything and then you're like, "Oh, we're going to put it all back together."
Yeah.
It
Was
turned
not
out
easy.
fine, but it's
You gave it the old jump test after you put it back up?
yeah, and then the half the hardware is missing, so you're just like, I guess I'll skip every other board or whatever.
Yeah, those aren't that important. How high off the ground is this? Not much.
No, we it's basically like right on the ground, so
Oh,
it's a
okay.
step up thing.
Gotcha.
And it was more of we need to get rid of this stuff and not have it just in a pile of something.
Yeah,
So
it's understandable. Well, at least it's low risk then if you fall through. So
yep.
nice. Yeah, I've been doing the whole like yard work and maintenance around the house thing too, and Jill's had me like assembling patio furniture and hanging stuff up in the backyard. So we ordered this patio set, right? Because it was a sale and it's like a wicker set, So it looked pretty decent. Price was good. And I'm like, and the best part about this is like it's wicker. So I won't have to assemble anything. Because obviously you wouldn't make wicker things that you have to assemble. Oh boy, was I wrong. It came in a box that was like double the size of a shoe box. I shit you not. And I had to spend 3 hours doing the most like poorly engineered Allen wrench assembly that like they put those bolts in the worst pot. It's like they knew it was going to be torture each and every time, and they just went with that design.
That's
Awful.
yeah. Well, I suppose because it's wicker, then they're like, we have to hide it to make it look like it's just one big wicker thing. So we have to
100%.
hide all these things.
Yes,
Yeah.
so every bolt was underneath and inside of something. So you had like you could do like a third of a turn at best. But it was just the worst.
Oh.
I get so mad at that stuff.
The Amish had it right, I guess. I don't know.
I should have just gone and bought their like $800 chairs at the Boys and Girls Ranch and could have saved myself some headaches. I don't know about you, but I decided to go out and actually try garage sailing this summer for the first time, pretty much. And I popped into a sale here or there, but yeah, last weekend I got together with Nate Biff of the podcast. We met up on Saturday and hit garage sales. It was the Fargo Marathon day too, which usually there's quite a few sales that day, but there wasn't much happening. And I think we went from like 8 to 11, and it was just so much trash. Like, just the worst sales I've ever seen.
Really?
I think I saw two garage sales that had anything video game related, and one of them was an at games, like, Genesis 4 model or whatever people refer to those as. And then one other sale had a bunch of like geeky collectible stuff, but the only thing, I have to assume there was more there earlier in the day, but it was just like one Xbox One game. I think it was like The Crew, which you can't even play anymore. So it was very lackluster. And then I think I got home, and like 2 hours later I get a text from friend of the podcast, Brandon, down in the Watertown, South Dakota area. He sends me a picture of two Game and Watch, the original Mario one and the original Donkey Kong Jr. I think one of them had a manual. I was like, really?
Wow.
I'm like, you found these in a garage sale? So then I was like, wait, what'd you pay? He comes back with like, oh, I paid $1 each. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I hate you so much. That is awesome, but god damn it, that sucks. Like, it is, that guy
Wow.
gets some of the most insane stuff from garage sales. It is
Huh.
crazy. So good for him. I think I'm already over it this year.
Yeah. We've had a few just when it's been convenient, and mostly Saturdays, which just it's. I mean, the Saturday it's over. Like,
Yeah, because people start on Thursday.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, or Friday at the very latest. So
yep, yep. You
I
can tell
that
you walk up there and there's like empty tables. It's like, oh,
yeah,
this is
yeah. I mean, a few years back, I was very big on like spending my Friday lunch breaks just hitting garage sales, and that was probably the last time I had luck. And even then, it
yeah.
wasn't great. But yeah, that whole landscape's changed. We also ran into like way too many sales that were run by very elderly people who are doing it, just as much to talk to random strangers about whatever, which I'm just like, after a while, I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. And like Nate's way more like, he'll engage with people, and like I'm just trying to do anything I can to get out of there. So
Get out of
usually I would
there.
just
Yeah.
leave him on the hook chatting about God knows what, and I would just like walk back to his car and stand there. It was fun.
Yeah. Fun to get out though. Do that.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, you gotta keep hope alive that you're gonna find something one of these days. But
Yep.
I don't know. What have you been doing outside of the yard work stuff?
Oh, I don't know. Been doing a lot of different stuff, I guess.
Yeah,
Still doing a lot of Forza and Kingdom Come. Been playing that stuff still.
guessing that's gonna be a long time and
Yeah,
to get through.
we haven't picked up Subnautica again. I think it's because my wife is freaked out about the fish. Um,
But you can't kill them.
right, can't kill the fish.
Yep, it's a problem.
Yeah. So I haven't played a lot. Other than one thing that came up in a YouTube feed that this guy that I follow is somebody has made a clone of Rocksmith that works kind of in a browser type
Hmm,
software.
okay.
And you can pull in all the songs and do a whole bunch of stuff to them. You can isolate all the instruments and like turn them up and down. I think they added drums to it now. They're rapidly doing a lot of. There's a lot of people working on it now, and it's rapidly coming together. There's still a lot of bugs, but
It's pretty
it's
amazing that they
kind of
got all,
crazy.
all that up in a browser, though. I mean,
Right? Yeah, yeah. I don't. I think it's like a contained thing. Like I can tell it's a browser, but it's in a package software type thing.
oh, okay,
I don't know.
gotcha.
A Docker container or something like that. Who knows what it is? But yeah, it's pretty impressive because I think they just started like a month ago, maybe if that,
Oh, wow. They must
and
be using
it's
some
kind of up
AI
and
to help
running.
with some of that stuff, I'm
Oh
guessing.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
So you've been
um,
playing the bass and the guitar on that and jamming
yeah,
out?
playing a lot of that. Um, and it's just so much faster to get in and out of songs. You can quickly pick them.
Sure.
It's like the UI is so much better than Rocksmith. It's not even funny like how fast you can do things in and out. And at this point, I mean, Rocksmith, the last one was 2014,
Yeah, I
so
was gonna say
it's
they've had a decade
13
to.
years ago.
Yeah,
It's hard to
that's
even get running on a modern computer,
that's
really.
cool, and they're not asking anything. It's all free at this point.
Yeah, it's all
Wow,
open source stuff. You
that's
can even
cool.
take like tabs, like from just like text tabs or whatever, and convert them right to a Rocksmith song. It's crazy.
It's interesting that they would be doing that now, since like all the harmonic stuff is basically like just given to people in Fortnite. I mean, I guess you have to
Yeah,
install whatever the Fortnite like 140 gigs at this point, but
yeah,
there's already like free alternatives.
yep.
Although this is real instrument, I suppose that's the big difference.
Yeah,
So
that's you're doing the real thing,
yeah,
and it's kind of practice for that. But even like Clone Hero, which is like like a Guitar Hero PC clone, right?
sure,
That's like incredibly popular too, and
okay,
that's just Guitar Hero. I think it's like the custom stuff because you can people make custom songs
yeah, getting
for
those
it.
songs that you always wanted, but they never. Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, because like the scope of what they had in that library at the end, I guess, had gotten pretty big, but it was still wasn't like, if you've got more like non-radio tastes, then you're not going to get a lot of
Oh
that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
That's cool. I hadn't heard anything about that. I don't
yeah.
have
It's
any instruments to plug into it, but
yeah.
I keep eyeing that Mike Herrera new signature bass though, and like trying to order it, and I'm like, if I ever see it in stock, I'll order, but it's always back ordered now, so I don't do it. We'll
Yeah.
see. Um, I played a game also that is heavily music focused. That everyone was really talking about for a while. I think it's kind of died. Well, people are still talking about it, but I played Mixtape because I heard it was like 3 hours long or whatever. So I was like, oh, I think it was like a Friday night. I'm like, or a Thursday night. I'm like, I'll just run through this thing, right? I got a little bit of downtime. And, the big controversy was that I got a 10 out of 10 from IGN. And everyone's like, oh, they give tens to everything. And it's like, you look at how many tens they give a year, and it's like, not that many. And most of them deserve it. And, um, and this is, I don't know, this is a walking sim game type of, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to judge somebody for connecting with it and giving it a 10 out of 10 because people probably think I'm crazy for thinking Brothers is the greatest of all time. For you, it's Journey, which Journey didn't land with me, but like, I get it. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
the problem I had with this game though is like, it's all following the soundtrack or whatever. And it's these teenagers who are leaving high school. This is their last hurrah together before they all go off and start their lives. And I am not going to remember any of the characters' names. I apologize for anyone listening who is bothered by that, but I'm just not. The main girl is, she's very heavily that type of teen that you hate as you get a little older. And then like maybe even you look back at yourself and you're like, God, I was such a douche, because it's just like she's solely focused on like music and her taste of music, and it's the best, and that's all she cares about. She's kind of a selfish dick, so she's a little unlikable. So I didn't really resonate with the character. It just reminded me like how annoying I find children of that age or young adults of that
Mm.
age. Which is kind of how you feel like when you go back home from your first year in college, or how you feel in your senior year of college when you're like, I need to get away from these people. Um,
Yeah.
so that didn't connect with me. And then I think what really bothered me was they're the skater kids too, right? So they don't tell you what era this is set in, but it's the 90s. It's the only clue you get. And there's many sequences. The opening sequence, you're riding around on a skateboard, but it's like an old 80s style board shape and everything. And then like 10 minutes into the game, the third track that you listen to on her mixtape list is Freak by Silverchair. And I'm like, that album came out in 1997. Everyone who was a
Ollie was
skateboarder,
invented.
yeah, everyone who was a skateboarder was riding a popsicle shape. These two things existed together in the 90s, but they would not have existed in the way that this is overlapping. And because I'm a huge Silverchair fan and a huge skateboarding fan, that fact just like shattered the world for me, and it just annoyed me for the next like 2.5 hours of the game. Well, not as much as the main character annoyed me. Um,
Especially that specific exact year, you would be an outcast if you were riding around in one of those boards.
yes. Well, and they are,
You
well,
know?
yeah, they're outcasts already because they're skateboarders, but they were, yeah, nobody would ride that. Like kids would like you wouldn't even be able to go skateboard with anybody else. And there's 3 kids riding around on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the soundtrack is interesting and diverse. I didn't like the characters at all. The premise is, hey, let's get to a party and get drunk. Didn't resonate with me. I don't know how everybody was in high school. I didn't drink. I didn't party. I didn't do any of that. So this was not like a storyline that I was like, yeah, let's get to the big party. It'll be fun. Um, art is amazing. The sound is great. Very cool, stylized. I will say for one of these type of games though, you almost don't play it. You're like, there are whole sections where you're literally just like, you have an interact button that just makes you like twirl in the air, and or like there's a whole scene in the car where you just press a button, everyone like nods their head to the music, and so it's like it's so much. It's like one more step removed than a lot of those other games. It wasn't for me. I didn't hate it. I'm not going to say it's a trash game and can't be someone's 10 out of 10. I don't know. I found it very irritating, and I didn't engage with the story, so it didn't really make me want to see it through. I think it was just the fact that I knew it was 3 hours and I could get it done is why I got there, but I didn't walk away emotionally invested or thinking it was a masterpiece for sure.
Well, and I think there's some level of just nostalgia, just fatigue.
Yeah, that's
Even
true.
the stuff that is directly targeted to us, to me, I'm still like, it's a lot of 90s stuff, right?
Yeah, and we just came off of what, like the last 9 months of like them ramming Stranger Things down our throats too. So it was kind of like
Yeah.
I was already kind of like fading on this stuff.
Yeah.
So I did like though that there's like the main character hates this other girl. I think her name's like Jenny something, but it's always like Jenny fucking whatever her last name is. And literally the only reason she doesn't like her is because she's trying to be friends with her friend, and then she doesn't like music. Like which tracks for this
Oh,
character's like whole attitude, but like it's the lamest reason to hate anybody ever.
yep.
And it just
That
continues throughout the whole story.
sounds about right for high school.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I don't know. I just I think it's worth checking out if you have a slight interest because it's on Game Pass, but not
I
my thing.
I had heard the big outcry that at some point you have to rewind a cassette with a pen or something,
Yeah, that goes on way too long.
and you do it the wrong way. So like everybody was like, "Oh,
But
how could you
I
screw
didn't
that
even
up?"
notice because that particular instance comes up in this horrible section where you're trapped in her room and you're just like wanting the game to continue, and it's just like, no, you got to walk around and interact with all this shit on the wall, and you got to find all these pictures. So you're already like 10 minutes into like this trap sequence. So by the time I got to the tape and stuff, I was just like, don't care. Like whatever I got to do to get past this and get me back in progressing the story. Yeah,
Yep.
I don't know. I didn't even notice that. That's funny though. It is weird too because yeah, she's like walking around with the CD player and a mixed CD, but then she's also got like vinyl and cassettes. I'm like, nobody really had a bedroom full of all 3 of those things at any point in the
Not
90s that I'm
vinyl.
aware of. Yeah, not vinyl. Um, cassettes and stuff for sure, but it was just
Yeah.
interesting. I'm sure that thing's
Huh.
going to win all sorts of awards coming into the year, but
Yeah.
it's a miss for me.
I want to play it. I just haven't found time because I can't imagine it's very like a good influence for kids to watch. So
Oh no, there's tons of
I'm
swearing
like,
and drugs and
yeah,
drinking. Yeah, you don't want
yeah,
to do that. Yeah,
yeah. So just finding time for that. But
yeah, it's something. I'll give it that. I don't know if I played anything else outside of that. To be honest, I did not. So you got the state of play. How was that?
yeah, that was interesting. I mean, I obviously don't have a PlayStation 5, so I'm not too invested
Yeah.
in PlayStation at this point. But it is weird how, I mean, they've gone so far into the games live service thing that I think they lost a lot of
What?
time and development
Yeah.
to now that they're like, oh, we don't really have a lot to show because it's like we blew all our wad on all those other games, you know? Um,
Yeah. And it turns out they don't want to do games as a service as a focus anymore because
yeah,
they're ending Destiny 2 support and like trying to fix Marathon and realizing like it's not happening. So
Yeah.
it's wild.
Apparently, there was thousands and thousands of people in the chat of the live stream just like protesting and wanting
Oh, really?
Destiny 3.
Give us Destiny 3? Yeah. Yeah, I believe it. Um, yeah, that is the kind of state. Like, PlayStation's in a better state than Xbox, obviously, right? They've still got
Yeah.
more focus on some good single player games, but yeah, they're. It seems like they're kind of heading in that direction of they've lost what core connection with the fan base is at this point in a console that feels like it hasn't even really started its generation, but is already ending. So I think the
Yeah,
PlayStation 6 is
that's
going to be very difficult for them.
yeah. Yeah, I don't even know. I think we're still a few years from that happening maybe. I don't know.
I say two
Especially if
years.
prices are going to, stay the way they are. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they showed the Wolverine game. That one looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
I
We're
do
talking
want to
about
play
that.
that game. But holy shit, that's another game you can't really play around young kids because that is
Yeah.
pretty crazy how violent that is.
I'd imagine the language is not great either.
Yeah, yeah. And that was just kind of a theme all along. And maybe it's just me getting old and as a dad and everything like this. It was just like a lot of these like showcases and stuff are just getting like horrifyingly gross and just like way too gory for what it needs to be.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like a fetish of the gore. And it's like, what are we doing here? Not necessarily Wolverine. I mean that's more of a like I'm just on a rampage killing things and there's blood everywhere, whatever. But
Yep.
some of the other stuff is like, okay, what are we doing? Why? Why is this here? What? It's one thing to be in the game, but why are you saying, oh, this is the main part and I want to show?
Yeah. Well, I gotta appeal to those like hard adult Call of Duty gamers, right? You know.
Well, it's not even that. It's just like weird sicko stuff that's like killing, like people dying in like just terrible ways, right? I don't know.
Yeah, usually you keep your state of plays more like for all audiences. That is true.
Yeah. And they've kind of done that before. I mean, the Last of Us ones were very,
No, yeah.
whenever they showed that, were very violent. But which they didn't show any of that, the new Naughty Dog game. So I don't know what's going on with that thing.
Yeah, I wonder if we're getting to the point too where like a lot of things are transitioning over towards like let's hold on to this till next gen, right? Like are we just gonna get like stuff moved over and then maybe they're just working on polishing up like recent remasters and you know what I mean? So that
Yeah.
they can have all the new stuff for the next console and
Which th- I- that would mean that I don't think Naughty Dog even put a game out then on this on PS5.
well they wasn't there a remaster of Last of Us and Last of Us 2 or
Sure,
whatever? So
sure, but
I
come
mean
on.
that's the game they've been releasing for the last 10 years now. So
Yeah.
have they like is there a Last of Us 3? Like are they actively developing that?
I imagine someday,
Okay.
but I don't know. I mean, what
Right.
is the show going to keep going? I don't know.
That's
What do you
true
do?
too. Yeah. Speaking of that, have you
Yeah.
seen the Mandalorian movie or no?
No.
Okay. I didn't even
I
realize it was in theaters. That's how
yeah.
unplugged I am from it.
I'm at least one season behind anyway, so I'm like, this
Yeah.
can't be right.
Sure.
Can't be something I can watch yet. Although they have to account for that in some way. I imagine there's thousands of people, you know, um, going into that not seeing any
Yeah.
of the Mandalorian.
Well, the couple reviews I read said it was like very geared towards people that like are familiar with the property. And I also heard it's kind of like a three-part act that could have almost just been divided into a series. So I don't
Yeah.
know. It's hard
Yeah.
to not like Grogu, to be honest. So I'm sure it'll be
Yeah.
decent, but I don't know.
It's getting its ass kicked though, apparently, by a couple of YouTube movies, right? Have you seen that?
Uh-uh.
So you know what Backrooms is? Kind of like that weird. I've never played it. I've seen my kids watch it sometimes. It's just like creepy, like weird liminal spaces, that type of
Okay.
thing. They made a movie about it, and it made like $83 million or something like that. It's
Really?
And then there was another one that some YouTuber made for like 750,000 budget, and he's made like 50 million. So like,
Wow. So Markiplier isn't an outlier then, huh?
right, I think that's going to be movie theaters. It's just going to be full feature YouTube
I mean, there's
videos.
something to be said about like taking a millions and millions fan base that you already have and then
Yeah,
giving them a tangible product because you don't really get that in the YouTube space, right? So,
right. It just sucks that a lot of that is just based on I know that person or I
right.
know that,
Yeah. He
not to say, I
he
mean, that's
replied to
IP
my
in general
comment one
too.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. No, I hadn't heard any of that. It's been a weird summer box office so far. Like,
Hmm.
because I don't think Mandalorian's made waves. Like, I don't even know what's really coming out. Like, I assume in July we're probably getting something notable. I guess we're getting that new scary movie. So,
Yeah. The Steven Spielberg, the Alien one,
Jesus,
which is
can I put on YouTube for 2 seconds without seeing 4 trailers of that? Like, I
I
almost
know.
want to boycott the movie for that reason.
Yeah.
What is that one called again?
Disclosure Day, which I
Disclosure
feel
Day. Yes.
is kind of you're riffing off Independence Day a little bit
100%.
without paying them.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going hard on shoving that down everyone's throats.
Yeah.
I mean, it does look interesting, but I've also seen so many of those kind of movies, and Steven Spielberg's name attached to something doesn't carry the weight it might have before.
Mm.
Some of the poor choices in sequel films over the last 10 years. And
Yeah, I wonder what his last like if you looked at Rotten Tomatoes, what is the last one that was
yeah.
good?
Well, and
I
he
don't
was the
know.
one that did Super 8 also, right? And that was
Yeah.
the same thing where it was just like movie of the summer, gotta see it, trailers. And I went to that and was like so disappointed that like I
That one
just
was
kind of,
boring. Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
And it was exactly what you thought it would be. And it wasn't
Hmm.
even exciting. Yeah.
And then he did Ready Player One, which was
I hated that movie so much. I never read the book, so
yeah.
yeah. Speaking of YouTube and all that stuff, I would imagine, unless you've lived under a rock, you're well versed at this point in the Bricks and Minifigs Reckless Ben drama.
Oh no.
What?
What's going on here?
This has been going
No.
on for like 3 weeks now, or maybe 2 weeks since we last recorded. But so this guy Reckless Ben has a YouTube where he just intervenes and does like I don't know, like I don't know what his normal content is because I never heard of him before this. But anyway, he got himself involved in this situation where a family, their dad had collected Legos, so he had collected a massive Lego set, all Star Wars themed, and had planned on that being like the nest egg, right? What he'd leave behind for his kids. He fell ill, and they need the money to like help with the medical expenses. So his son took the collection and went to a Bricks and Minifigs location, I think in Oregon, and gave it over to them in a consignment deal. Typical consignment deal. It's my property. You sell it. Give me a cut. And then Bricks and like something happened with the owner of that location. They were going to move out of country, and they contacted corporate to like
Oh
see how
yeah, I
this was going to
had
get
heard
handed
this.
off,
Yeah.
right? And then so corporate swoops in, basically steals the Legos. Now this guy is trying to get involved to get the guy's money back, and like he's been arrested. Part two came out where like the cops in this town and over in Utah are like very corrupt. Like they're doing illegal search warrants, illegal pullovers, illegal arrests. He now has like a warrant out for his arrest, fled to Mexico. He's got like civil and criminal lawsuits coming at him. And then right before, like I've been watching, and it's everywhere, right? Like it's been picked up by Moist Critical, Asmongold. Everyone's covering it. I've seen it on like actual news. And then right before we recorded, a video went up where Patreon apparently got a removal and cease and desist because he's been going Patreon first, then to YouTube. And the CEO of Patreon actually did a 50-second video where he went onto YouTube and showed the claim and the filing. And they're like, our response to that is You go stuff yourself. Like, if you want us to take it down, you're gonna have to sue us.
Oh,
And I was
wow.
just like, wow. But this whole thing is so insane because it's $200,000 at most. Like, and $200,000 is probably the street value, right? Like, that's not what they would have had to pay out. They would have had to pay out maybe 50 to 60% of that. Like,
Yep.
they could have just made this go away. And
Yeah.
instead, they've done every wrong move at every corner. The police are even putting out a statement now, like trying to cover their ass. Like, it's so ridiculous and it's so blatantly theft. Um,
Yeah.
it's wild.
When, when you buy a business, you kind of take over all that stuff, right? Or you
Yeah,
have to cancel the contract and do the right thing. But
yeah,
that's
and
crazy.
on a consignment deal, it's very cut and dry. It is never you never have ownership. Like
Yeah.
that is not how that works.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been entertaining. I'm actually really looking forward to part 3, which I don't know when that's going to come out. Probably in another week or so. But yeah, pretty awesome. Pretty fun watching all the legal breakdowns too. He's been like chatting with lawyers. He's been on the H3, all sorts of stuff. Like it is like really taken over the internet. I
Yeah.
think
Over
bricks and
what? Yeah.
minifigs are pretty much done, to be honest.
Yeah.
Or I mean, for sure, their CEO is getting canned, and
Yeah.
probably a lot of
Huh.
corporate.
It's kind of it's kind of weird that there's a secondary Lego thing already like that, right?
Right.
I don't know.
Well, and I have to imagine they probably do like they probably have like some distribution deal and get things directly from Lego too. Like, do you think Lego
Hmm.
wants to be like remotely tied
Right.
into this? You know, so
Right.
I can't imagine there probably haven't been discussions from Lego people, at the home office with bricks and minifigs. So pretty pretty wild and pretty disgusting how like corrupt the police were, in many of the in some of those things. Like, they pull them over and say, we're pulling you over because we were told you have heroin in your car. It's
Oh
like,
my gosh.
didn't he know enough to say like, no, you can't search my car unless you have a warrant? Like, he still probably would have gone to jail, but like, you shouldn't, if cops are coming up to you saying that, you shouldn't let them search your car. That's just like the perfect time for them to plant something on you, and then you are
Yeah.
definitely
I've
going to
got the
jail.
heroin right here.
Right.
Yep.
So I don't know. Pretty wild stuff.
Huh.
And he does
Yeah.
like a
I
lot
didn't
of,
realize it went that far.
yeah, and
Wow.
he does a lot of dumb shit, but then he does some really smart stuff too. It's kind of amazing.
Huh.
Filming it all
Yeah.
may
Some of
not work out
these.
for him. I'll say that.
No, say what you will. I mean, even like there. I mean, if you, the guy from Minnesota took down, a fraud daycare center. Like there's people out there that like. It's kind of crazy how like they're just on the street
Yeah.
finding these stories and then turning it into things, right?
Well, yeah, and then the whirlwind too, when something gets this big and it makes content for hundreds of people on the platform and everyone's mutually like, they're not going to let the story die. It's in everyone's best
No.
interest to just keep this alive as long as they can. So
Yep.
it's
Yep.
not going to be a good situation for anyone involved.
Nope. Huh.
Yeah. And he did one live stream too, where he's like, "We're definitely not in Mexico now because I found out that fleeing to a different country with a warrant out for your arrest is a felony." But then he's continued to keep saying that he's in Mexico, so I don't know what the thought process is there. It's interesting.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I speaking of Legos, the Sega Genesis one is coming out.
Yeah. Why does it look like
It
shit?
came out. I know. Compared to the NES one and the
Right.
Game Boy one, I don't know.
It looks like the Duplo or whatever version of like the
Yeah.
because it's just so crudely mocked up. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, they didn't get their A-team designers on that one, I don't think.
They're like, Sega's not popular enough for us to mold new parts. We're just going to
Yeah.
use what exists. I mean, the console itself looks fine, but the controllers just look horrendous. I just can't
Yep.
do it.
And then the Pokemon ones, I can't even imagine what those are going to be like. Is that going to be the Pokemon card stuff too, where people just
Oh,
grown
it's gonna be
adults are
insane.
in the Lego things?
Yeah. Well, and they're probably going to
Uh,
sell for like 150 a set, and
Yeah.
It's gonna be horrendous. Um, so you got GameStop on here. Was that
Yeah. Speaking about
which
Pokemon
one of
cards,
the things that they've been doing lately are you?
it's it's crazy that I mean, essentially, Pokemon cards has turned that company around.
Sure.
I mean, they I think they just released their quarterly earnings, and it was like their record income.
How? That is
And it's like,
wild.
how did you do that? You know? And it's got to be all that. It can't be video games. There's no way.
It's not Funko Pops.
No. And then you see, yeah, I mean, you look at all the like third parties. They're actually like releasing stats of like what their split is on digital and stuff, and it's getting to the point where I mean, if you were running that business, there's no way you would be like, yeah, we're making discs for the next generation, right? Because I mean, it's like 15%
Yeah.
that are discs. So there's no way I don't think that digital isn't what it is next year. So GameStop, the games aren't going to be a thing. And then I don't know. It's kind of wild that
Is that what got
GameStop is where it is.
is that what got his hair up his ass about we're buying eBay and then they're getting quickly shut down?
Well, I'm guessing that's part of it because there's you know, if collectibles are doing that well for you, why not try and go into the eBay, get the eBay thing, which eBay is a terrible run company. Like, how are they not better at what they do? I
You
mean, it's
think
always
you'd
been there.
yeah. They'd almost be better off trying to acquire whatnot at this point,
Yeah,
to be
that's kind of where
honest. It
that is.
fits
But
their brand better anyway.
that's true. Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah. I
yeah,
know
I don't know what the deal is with the eBay thing. Like, if he's actually serious, I've heard there's like a weird thing with if he can get um there's a weird thing in his contract that if he gets his share number, the number of shares up to a certain price or something like that, and the way they structured the deal with eBay was like a loophole to get to him that bonus without even,
oh,
I don't know.
I heard eBay shot it down already, so it seems like that's dead in the water. But
Well, they're buying more and more because I think GameStop is up to like 8% now. They
really,
bought of eBay stock, so
they're
they're
trying to do
like
a
kind of
hostile
doing a
takeover.
hostile a little bit, yeah.
Interesting.
At some point, they're going to have a seat at the table, and then I mean, at least then I suppose they have a say in how the companies run, at least. So I
I
don't know.
mean, a little shakeup at eBay these days wouldn't be the worst thing in the world because, like you said, yeah, it's become unwinnable for like sellers, right? Like it is full of scams, the price
Yep.
gouging, the always siding with the customer versus the seller, even with evidence. I mean, my brother-in-law did that stuff for years, and like he's just like, I can't make money on eBay anymore. It's just not worth it.
No, they
He's
just
just
side
turned to
with
Facebook
whatever. And
Marketplace.
yeah, yeah, it's terribly run, and yeah, it's all fake stuff from China. A lot of the stuff, and
Yeah.
it's. Have you ever heard that story about like the blog that was writing criticisms about eBay, like everything that eBay was messing up?
Uh-uh.
The higher ups at eBay got a hold. We're like, we got to do something about these people. They're ruining our business, and they're down talking. Like they were sending like dead pigs' heads to these people. These like mafia type shit.
That's kind of
So
amazing.
this lawsuit's been going on for years now over this.
I mean, you shut down one troll on the internet, you're just creating 10 more. So
Right? Yeah.
it's not probably worth it in the end. It's
Nope.
funny. Yeah, I'm trying to think about the last time I even bought anything off of eBay. And I bet it's been at least 15 years.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yep. I mean, they should be. I mean, they still have some brand, I guess, but
Yeah.
there's not really any other marketplace other than Facebook Marketplace, which is, again, that's also, how has that not been updated to actually be a useful product at all?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I've had some issues with Facebook Marketplace stuff too. Like where I clearly got scammed on one game I bought, and like the guy was trying to like hustle me. And luckily, if you're intelligent at all, you're using PayPal to
Yeah.
make your purchases, and they got me my money back pretty quickly. So
But half the time I go on there and I search something and then it gives me like two items and then it's like, well, how about, you know, here's our things from farther away, or
mm-hmm.
you can't search anything by newest listed.
There's so much
It's
stuff now that's like embedded to like Etsy shops too that comes up in the feed,
yeah,
which is weird. I don't know.
it's kind of just a shit show. I don't understand. Like, I get that it's maybe not a big moneymaker for Facebook itself, but have some pride in your
Yeah.
product a little bit. I don't know.
I think what we're hearing here is that we just need Craigslist to come back from the dead, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Pure.
they killed themselves when they took away the like women seeking men, like all the pervy stuff. Like that was like the end of Craigslist. Everyone's like, I can't sell stuff and look for women. Like this is bad. The missed connection stuff. I would just scroll through that
Oh,
and just laugh. God, it was good.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, most of those had to have been fake,
Oh,
right?
100%. But they were still entertaining.
But some of them had to be real too, and then it's just like these
Yeah.
poor guys.
And
These
then
poor guys.
if you're from North Dakota too, I think it's hilarious because our second biggest city, Bismarck, has functioned off of they basically built their own Craigslist and Facebook marketplace with a website called Bizman. And that like runs the western side of our state. And it's like you guys solutioned a problem that had so many answers, and the fact that this is successful blows my mind. It's like you can't.
Huh.
It's like even rummage sales and stuff. Like you have to go on Bizman to like find them. It's so
Really?
stupid. Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh
Wow.
yeah.
That's
Yeah. I used to because my family lived out that way for a while, so I'd always like do the usual like look at Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, but it's just like dead there because everyone's on this Bizman bullshit, and it's just dumb.
was it because do you think it was because there was only Fargo? Was it on the Craigslist? Was it only Fargo?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe I thought there were. No, I thought you could get other towns in there too, but yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. They just must have got in early when the getting was good, but the fact that it
Yeah.
persists is so funny to me. Um, what's Meadow?
That's my wife's favorite board game.
Ah,
Um, and recently I bought her one of the expansions for it. It's called Meadow Adventure Book, and it does something really cool that it doesn't change up the base game of how you play much. It's kind of like the surrounding objectives and goals change, and the thematic things of what you're doing um, change. And it's kind of on a hike. So one of them is like there's hot air balloons, one of them you're walking by windmills, and it's all different things you're doing, but you're still playing the same base game, which is like the perfect thing. So it's not like where a lot of expansions where it's like they're starting to add more complexity and it's like at some point you're like this is too much.
sure,
I don't even want this. And then you put it back in the box and then you're like, oh, this you can't play it with this, you can't do it with this, and it's just a big mess a lot of times with the expansions. And this one does it in a really clever way, I think, where you still get to play the refined, perfect game that you want to play, just in a different like objective. You're just doing it in a different way. Um, and I don't know if I've talked about the base game before, but
I don't think so.
it's really cool. It's like a really nature styled game where you're kind of building your own meadow, and it's a 4x4 grid of a bunch of cards. And a lot of times they'll basically each card has a requirement of a certain resource, like a worm or a bug or a tree or mushroom that you have to have in your meadow before you can lay it down. So you are collecting them and like chaining them, right? Like you're like,
Sure,
oh, I got the worm, now I can get the bird, and then get the bird, and filling it out into a big thing. And then um, it's a really clever way of how you pick the cards because it's a directional thing. It's a 4x4 grid, and you only have select numbers of how far you can go into the grid on certain things. So that's how you are able to select cards. So it's a kind of a interesting way to block other people, not necessarily like you're watching their meadow too much. You can kind of tell maybe what they're going to do, but not too much. So that's probably why my wife likes it, because it's not one of those games where you can just be an asshole to the other person too much.
sure.
Um, but Yeah, it's a good expansion to that game. It's pretty smart.
Nice. So you guys are gonna be playing that one for many nights.
Yep, yep.
Nice, nice.
And it's just nice to whip it out and after and say which one you want to do.
We still
Which
talking about
hike.
Meadow here?
Which one? It's, yeah,
This is
that's a
after the
different
game
kind of
we're talking
adventure
about?
book.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna try
Nice.
the windmill tonight.
God, I'm just having flashbacks to that meat spin website now. Scarred for life. um, sorry, I took that down a weird path. The only other thing I was going to talk about was I don't know if you noticed, but there was like a new Mummy movie that came out this year. It was like I forget it's
What?
somebody's name, like director, the Mummy, whatever. And we've been out of stuff to watch, so this came up, and I'm like, oh, I don't know what this is. It's 2026. Let's watch it. Um, I didn't love that movie. It was it's less of like it is a mummy movie, but it's like less of a mummy movie and more of like a possession thing where like their kid gets abducted at like 3 or 4. I don't know how old the kid is. You get the kid back at like 17 and like something's off with her. And here she's like hosting the spirit of like some evil like Egyptian thing that like gone through a mummification process. And it's just like incredibly disturbing and more like a modern exorcist movie than anything else. And then it really leans into like Sam Raimi, just like close up and detailed gore and like disembowelment and stuff to the point where like I had to stop and like actually look up if Sam Raimi was actually involved in this thing, which he is not, but it's clearly inspired by like especially the more recent Evil Dead ones. Um, so yeah, I don't know. It was all very disturbing, like kind of to the point where like towards the end I was just like, I just need this to be over. Like I'm not even enjoying this anymore. It's just getting grosser and grosser. Um,
And
yeah,
is it like from the Universal Studio? Like it's the
I
Universal Studio Mummy?
I don't think so. Not as far as I could tell.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's all well shot and the production values and stuff are good. It's just not my type of like horror. Um,
Yeah,
and I had no idea it had even come out. So I,
weird.
I would caution people like if you're not into like that sort of stuff, it's not the movie you might think you're getting into. So be a
Yeah,
little
it's not
be a little
Brendan
careful.
Fraser.
Yeah, well, that's what I find so funny too. Is like they've greenlit and they're shooting the Mummy 4, and it's like weird. And we just had the other Mummy not that long ago, and
The Tom Cruise one,
yeah,
yeah,
Tom
which I've
Cruise
never
one.
seen that one either.
I haven't either. As soon as I knew he was involved, I'm like, I don't need to see this. Like this is gonna not be good. So yeah, whatever that 2026 Mummy movie is,
Weird.
would
I
give
mean,
it
they've
lots of
done
thanks.
some weird, like more serious. I think the Wolfman was last year, maybe. I haven't seen that one, and then like the Invisible Man. So
Maybe
they've
that's
been
what this
kind of doing
is.
these,
Yeah,
but they're like, yeah, more thriller horror
yeah. That's definitely the
movies.
vibe of this one. It was not at all what I thought. Like I thought I was getting into like the traditional sort of like maybe update on the classic story and so far off base. But
Ah,
yeah. Well, I got more movies to talk about too, but it'll get us to staff picks. Um, I'll let you go first, and I hope you're going to talk about what I think it is. So, what's your staff pick?
yeah. I we started watching home movies,
Brendan
and not
Small.
in the way, yeah, the Brendan Small ones. And you know what? Back in the day when this was, kind of an Adult Swim thing, this one annoyed the shit out of me, and I did not like it.
Oh,
Like
see, I
whenever it was
was
on, I skipped it all the time.
I was the complete opposite. I gravitated towards this one. I have like the first 3 seasons on DVD, even, and before they got rid of
Yep,
Squiggle Vision.
yep. And no, we started watching it. Figured, it's somewhat okay. It's one of those like
Yeah.
not totally inappropriate
Hmm.
Adult Swim things. So it was something we've been watching with the kids, and man, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just my tastes have changed. I think maybe I can handle a little bit more of the just constant talking and like almost ad libbing
Yeah.
of what that show is. Um, but it's it's pretty great.
I think it helps having young kids too because you see so much of like what he kind of picked up on in your own kids just being like ridiculous
Yeah,
and that
yeah,
whole like Coach and Brendan dynamic is always just
yep,
amazing. uh,
yeah. Coach McGurk, and yeah, I mean the obviously the people that are in it have got on to be bigger things, right?
yep.
I mean that Coach McGurk especially, he's done voice his own cartoon stuff or animated stuff for a long time now.
Yeah.
But we were watching one yesterday. I'm like, that's Mitch Hedberg, like the way he was talking.
Oh,
It was
really?
like, sure was, yeah.
Oh,
It's
that's
like that's
awesome. I didn't know he
crazy.
did an episode. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I still think like that it must be season 1, that episode where he goes on a date with his mom and Brendan's just like, "You'll never be my dad." Just like so
yeah.
awkward. The whole thing is so awkward. And I just always loved the fact that it just looked like it was animated on like a freaking PC running like Windows 95 and like it's just so bad. Like
Yep,
I
yep,
mean the story is funny and like the dialogue is funny, but it's just so poorly animated for something that was on television.
yep.
And
I
honestly,
think,
once they got rid of Squiggle Vision, it kind of lost some charm, I feel like.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. That there's only a couple of shows that did that too, right? I think Miss Doctor Katz was one of
Yeah,
them. I
yep,
can't remember. There was another one,
yeah.
but I think when I was younger, the mom, I just couldn't stand the mom. But
Yeah.
now, like, I'm like, I can understand the mom now. Like, I can get how she's just like freewheeling, what everything goes type of. I'm just trying to do my best at this thing, right?
I love how they like never explain like the family dynamic either too, because it's like
Yeah,
the mom looks Hispanic, the younger sister looks black, Brendan's just like white as can be. I'm like, what is this family? I
yeah,
guess adoption's a possibility, but yeah, it's so funny too that the same guy who made that, like, I mean, obviously rock music and like the music segments and stuff were a part of that show too, but just like the complete polar opposite of what home movies is to um Metalocalypse, it's just jarring.
yeah. It could be any farther from that type of
Yeah,
show. Yeah.
he definitely like keeps the same like quick quip like dialogue sequences, but you know that's
Oh
about
yeah,
it
and the ones
really.
that just kind of go on forever. So
Yeah.
just like they're just talking about nothing
Yep.
for a while.
Yeah. It's a great show. I actually, it's funny you mentioned that because I actually started rewatching it too not that long ago. And I stopped for whatever reason, but I'd gotten through like the first couple seasons, and yeah, it's a classic. I need to go back and watch C Lab also and see if that still holds up because I was very in love with that show.
Yeah, that one's pretty good too. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder. I don't think my kids could follow that one as much.
C Lab's way
Like
too
if I
dry. Yeah.
yeah, like it's and then for how it's based on the old cartoon too, that I don't think they would understand that part.
Yeah. There's a lot of
I mean,
through
they kind of
lines
get
to it.
Space Ghost a little bit, but
Yeah. I was gonna say there's a lot of like through lines of people trying to get in the female's character's pants all the time too, so it's probably not
yeah,
like the greatest for children.
yeah.
Um yeah, so my step pick, I watched that Project Hail Mary finally. I thought it was really good actually. You know, not much into movies now that have like a couple hour runtime or whatever, but it kind of nails like the pacing and like the urgency and just the humor like aspect. Like it's a very good family film. I feel like it just kind of hits all the emotions and um, makes you smile at the right times. So pretty cool movie that I'll have to watch again because my wife had a friend over at the time who had seen the movie apparently and just kept talking through the whole thing, and she kept doing this thing where it was like, do you get what's happening right here? I'm like, I just fucking watched it, so I think so. I think I see what's happening right here. I'm like, the thing that they just
No.
said, it was so,
Oh,
oh, I was about to just like clobber somebody. But yeah,
yeah, that's rough. No, I've
yeah,
heard it's really good, and I'm definitely gonna see once it comes out on something, I suppose. But
Yeah. Well, and then her friend too was like, "Do you guys all love Ryan Gosling too?" I'm like, "I'm pretty sure I don't love him the same way you three do," because it was like me, my wife, and my daughter. Like, yeah, I like him as an actor. Like, you guys like him for his abs in The Notebook, but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I think I've definitely turned the corner on him. Like he's done some really good stuff.
yeah.
Um, Obviously Blade Runner's good, and then the one where he's a stunt guy, that one was kind of fun too.
I don't know if I've seen that one, but yeah, he's been in some good movies. I never watched the Barbie movie, I guess. So,
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that either.
but yeah, I think you'd like it. You'll have to check it out when you get a chance. I'm sure it'll be on every
Mm.
streaming thing here in the near distant
Hmm.
future. I just caught it on Plex in the interim, so.
Yeah,
Uh,
I that should be the movie that I pick. So I finally engineered a way to have my movie screen on the in my garage with being able to open the garage door
nice.
at the same time. So now I can watch from outside.
Nice. You can get a breeze if you need to be inside on a rainy day.
Hmm. Hmm.
Huh? That's cool. Yeah, we haven't done a backyard movie night here yet. I'll have to do that soon. But like I said, it's been freezing or uncomfortably hot.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep.
I guess it's time for the weekend rental. Weekend rental, of course, we pick a game for a given system. We'll play it, and then Andy and I will give our opinion as to whether we would buy, rent, or burn that game. We are talking about the Virtual Boy. I think that is a first. We've not talked Virtual Boy in any of our episodes.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't think so.
not on buy, rent, or burn anyway. With the weekend rental, and we played Jack Bros. That just came to the Nintendo Switch Online Plus or whatever plan service. I think there were a lot of Virtual Boy games in there. I hadn't looked at it in forever. Jack Bros. I think it tends to be, if I'm not mistaken, the highest dollar value or damn near for the Virtual Boy.
It almost has to be, right?
Did not get a Western release, I don't think, or did it?
Yeah, it did.
It did. Okay, so it must have been
Yeah.
very tail end. Well, we're talking about like a 7-month run. So
Yeah.
yeah. Atlas game, top down
The,
puzzle.
the first Shin Megami Tensei game that came over here, which is crazy that was the one on the Virtual Boy.
I didn't even know that. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, how would you describe the gameplay on this? Like a maze crawler?
Yeah. It's kind of got like a gauntlet type thing going to it a little bit, right?
With forced speedrun mechanics. Is this the first game that like maybe pushed for speedrunning?
Yeah, because it's definitely you have to finish a certain amount of floors and a boss within a time limit.
And then the time limit is also, in my opinion, inexcusably your life bar. And yeah, I think, I've made rants on here about how like the 3D does not really add anything to most games, and I stand by that. Most of the games are fully playable and on 3D. I think this one does the best job of like leveraging that perspective to make it look cooler. Like it's still fully playable without the 3D, but like the way they've done like the 2 layered sprites and like the stuff below it pops more, I think, than basically any Virtual Boy game that you're gonna play.
So the thing I was wondering, because I played it in emulator, is it mostly just the floors that pop?
Yeah, and
Or
then the
is it-
character sprites are like split, so the head slightly elevates above the body, which looks really cool.
Okay.
And that makes it really pop, and that's the same for all the characters too. So, but again, like I'm sure, other than a little bit of visual wow, you're not really missing anything in the gameplay department. So,
Yeah. It definitely seems like they maybe went first with we're making a Virtual Boy game what would look cool instead of turning a game into a Virtual Boy game, because you wouldn't make a mechanic like that where you're falling down into the next floor like that unless you were doing a 3D game, I don't think.
yeah, that's true. They were probably looking to capitalize on the gimmick. Yeah, I think there's some of the usual game Virtual Boy problems here too, where like once you get to the stages that start introducing like the floor panels that like pop up and stuff, like all that stuff gets very difficult to like focus on when everything's red, and then like the movement kind of blurs things.
It's way too zoomed in.
It is very tight. Yeah, for a game that has very fast enemies and expects you to clear them without taking damage, it kind of, because of the way that timer life mechanic works, it almost forces you to like memorize this thing and repeat stages because you're bound to fail pretty much every time.
Yeah.
And that's where I started not having fun because I just didn't want to replay stuff. And like you can continue, yes, but you're starting at the beginning of that maze and you're gonna have multiple floors to get down to a boss, and it just kind of kills the momentum and fun. Where I think if they had just made a more casual experience and not done that mechanic, they would have had a much better game.
Yeah. I can't imagine getting farther in the game and then having to start over because I mean the floors you have to do more and more floors as you
Mm,
go. Um, that's got to be brutal, and I can't. I have to imagine it gets even harder.
yeah.
And it is pretty much speed run where it's like, oh, I got hit too many times on this first thing or in the third thing.
Yeah.
Start over.
And you're done. Right, exactly. And that's why I started getting so mad with it. It's just like I don't want to redo this endlessly. And like, yes, I guess it's telling you that like patience and like memorization is the key to success, but that also doesn't make the game more fun.
Yeah, yeah. It's all right. I mean, the characters don't change too much other than their specials. I feel like. I mean, I think the damage maybe is different on.
Sure.
There's different aspects and attributes of speed and damage and stuff like that, but for the most part, they play the same because it has to, right?
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a very like, yeah, there's really not much to explore on the maps. I mean, these mazes are, I mean, it's your character width, right? Like, so you're literally going through just these closed off gauntlets. So yeah, I mean, there's not going to be much difference in how those characters interact in going through the level. I don't know. I just like you always hear about like how this is like the standout and so fantastic, and I don't know that maybe I emulated it at some point, but like I just was not blown away by anything other than like sort of the visual tricks, but those aren't the things that made the game more fun anyway. So
Yeah, yeah,
it just feels like a concept that needed more time to be fleshed out.
yeah, and it is the window thing got me the most, where it was just like, especially when you got onto a boss, and then the window where you're constantly moving around. It's like I can't even see the guy because I
Right.
have to maneuver so much that the guy's off screen
Yeah.
the whole
Well,
time.
even that first boss, yeah, you never, because like you're just evading, so you never actually see what you're shooting. Luckily,
Yeah,
like the damage, it's not one of those games where like the range of your weapon stops at the edge of the screen. Otherwise, I think some of those fights would be damn near unwinnable.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's just so many traps that are off screen sometimes, and it's like, oh, this is okay.
Yeah.
You got me.
Well, and the second enemy they introduce is like blisteringly fast. So it's like it all
Yeah,
you have to do is turn at the wrong time and like you're taking damage, and yeah.
yeah. What would you say? So, like, your character, like, if you did it in like a square grid or something, and your character took up one space, it's probably like 5 high,
I was gonna say maybe
right?
even like 4. Yeah, it's not a
Yeah.
lot. I mean, so like enemies come out of nowhere.
Yep.
And it's brutal, especially those guys that like lay bombs and come down. So it's like you can walk up into a bomb and get hit by it before you even realize it's on the play field.
Yep.
It's kind of nuts. And the little thing that like tells you about each level is kind of overbearing too. That little helper character fairy thing
Mm.
is
Yep.
like, you didn't need to tell me that there was a new type of enemy and that I should kill it. Like I
Every
know
time.
to kill enemies. Thank you. And I'm used to new ones
Oh, they
being
have
introduced.
keys? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a ship mechanic too, where you got to chase things around a map to find a key inside of it when you're already on a time crunch.
Yep. Which I'm sure that's part of. I wonder if the keys stay in the same things.
They
I have to
must,
imagine
yeah,
they do.
yeah,
I
because it
mean,
seems like it's all about memorizing that optimal path, right?
yep.
Yeah,
You know it's too tight. Your screen is too tight when you have to have a map on the side of your screen of of what's around, you know?
yeah. How long did it take you to realize that like you just auto shoot when you hold the button down?
I don't know if I did.
Yeah, I found that out way too late. I think I'm actually faster spamming, but
Yeah.
it was helpful for the boss fights. Like I didn't realize it until at least the second or third level in.
Yeah, I never did. I guess I never did.
Yeah. Sound design is good. The overall aesthetic is good. The gimmick is good. I just think it needs more time to bake. Like this does I mean this doesn't feel too much different than like 20 games in the PC engine, you know what I mean? Like Crater Maze or like you get some verticality, but I'm basically doing that, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I've played a lot of this before.
Yep. Yep. But it's got Jack Frost and uh Pyrojack, except he's named different Jack Lantern in this one. So, I mean, coming back to this with all the Persona stuff in mind, it's like, oh wow, this is crazy that this
Yeah.
was the first game, and this is what they picked, and this was yeah, wow,
And all of that stuff is completely lost on me because I've never played any of those. So,
yeah,
well, at least you got to play it in comfort. I had to stick my face in that stupid plastic shell, and after like 50 minutes, I was like, yeah, I need to be able to like focus my eyes again. So, uh, yeah. What do you think you'd give this on the Byron Burn scale then?
Well, for like you said, I think a very not insignificant amount of people say this is the best Virtual Boy game, and I have to disagree. I think, like, I guess I haven't played them all, but pretty sure I enjoy a few other ones more. Tetris, Telero Boxer, I like. There's
Wario,
just a few other ones, yeah.
yeah,
Where this one is just, I don't know, it's so. It's definitely got a good grasp of the gimmick. It's maybe one of the better ones that way, I
yeah,
think.
yeah. No question
That
there.
that maybe if you look at it that way, what are the things to actually look at in a Virtual Boy? Maybe this is right up there, but I'm gonna put on the lower end of a Rent. I don't think it's a terrible game by any means. It's
Yeah,
just not completely innovative, and they made, I wouldn't say mistakes. It's just probably limitations of the the hardware itself. But
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I kind of feel like that too. I think like if you were like throwing price out the window and then looking solely at what the Virtual Boy has in its library, it's pretty easy to say this could be a buy. But I think in all reality, for me playing it, I would only push it as like a rent. There nothing stands out about it other than like good art. Like it's good art design, it's good sound design. It's just not great gameplay design, and it's not a gameplay loop that I find overly fun. I think it is inherently frustrating, and that's kind of a core mechanic to it, and that wears thin after a very short amount of time for me. So
yeah, I think the time as a health thing is an interesting mechanic, but it didn't work for me either. Like
no,
I didn't enjoy that part. But they took a swing at something different, I guess you could give them that. But
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think the first time I dropped down to a boss level and I had 2 seconds left, and I was like, I'm just falling to like continue. I was just kind of pissed at that point. So yeah, well, we'll give that a universal rent. Everyone, come at us. Tell us how wrong we are on this one, or right. I guess I'd be curious what people actually think because I know what the internet thinks, and I tend not to agree.
I think whether this is the greatest game of all time, or if you absolutely hate it, what depends on whether or not you've paid the $400 to buy the cartridge or not. 'Cause you might have a little bit of
Yeah,
investment in
and
how
then
good the
paid the
game is
extra to
at
have
that
a
point.
VGA graded, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess that's another episode.
it is. Yeah, you can reach out to us at weekendrentalpodcast@gmail.com. Um, let us know what your favorite Virtual Boy game is. Um, we're doing a movie podcast on the Patreon, Geekade Patreon network,
Hmm.
and you'll want to check them out because you'll get access to that plus a lot of other good podcasts that talk about video games. Occasionally, Virtual Boy games, I'm sure.
Hmm.
But until next time, be kind, rewind.